Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more. Episode 406, and I've got one of my closest mates on the show today. And we're talking about something that I don't feel has ever been discussed in the over 400 episodes on this podcast before. And that is being a step parent or becoming a blended family. Now, blended families, so just, if that's a term we'll use for it, are the fastest growing families, with over 10% of all families in Australia being blended or having step parents involved in that. Now, Brad himself is a stepdad. Well, he's not married yet, but we'll call him the stepdad. And he taught me so much through this conversation. So it was a very, very brilliant one. And I know whether you're in a blended relationship or let's just call it relationship, super simple. We talk about the power of communication with your partner and also children. The second one, not taking the title of dad, and why Brad has chosen to call himself, said to the girls, you can call me Braddy, don't call me dad, unless they feel comfortable doing that. The third one of prioritizing your relationship first and foremost. It started with a relationship, so why not to neglect that? And that is something that all of us can take learnings from. And the second one is building a relationship with the children. So rather than trying to just jump in and be the dad or be the mother, it's about building a relationship. As with everything, starts with that, so you can get that respect and you can get that trust. But brilliant episode. And I know that everyone will be able to take away a whole heap. Now, before we dive into today's episode, Strong Men of Value Academy, the online coaching and community, which is incredible. So helping men build strong minds and strong bodies. We do this by helping you build muscle, momentum, meaning, and mateship. I do not believe you can reach your potential unless you have the strongest version of yourself physically, along with a supporting mindset to get you there, the one that's emotionally intelligent and knows what you want. So if you wanted to build more confidence, if you wanted to create more direction for your life and be in a community of ambitious, like-minded men, check out Strong Men of Value Academy over at themanthatcanproject.com/Strong Men of Value Academy. And if you feel it's going to add some value to your life, click the application button, jump on in, and I will be giving you a buzz. So I look forward to chatting with you soon. And once again, if you've been sitting on the fence, all you can do is give it a crack. Jump in. Today could be the day that changes that for you. Let's dive into today's episode with Bradley Matthews. The Man That Can Project podcast, a podcast empowering career-driven men to live more fulfilling lives. We are here to challenge your beliefs, redefine success, and talk about the important stuff in a relatable way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. My name's Lachie Stuart. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 406. Wow.
That's quite
We're
a lot
flying.
of episodes,
That's a lot of talking.
Wow.
And I always say how I'm introvert. So guys, before we dive into today's episode, we got Brad Matthews on. Brad was my best man, also co-host in Rookies to Regionals on YouTube, where we had a CrossFit channel where we were training hard to make the regionals, which is like state level. I don't know what it actually really is, but anyway, it's the next level in CrossFit. And it was good fun. It was really good fun. But we're trying a whole new podcast setup this morning, because I had Christian Hull on, as you guys would have listened to recently, and Christian gave me some feedback saying, why are we staring at the camera rather than talking directly to each other, as Brad and I are eye-gazing right now, and it's quite mesmerizing. And I thought, that's a brilliant idea. So we've got to set up, we've got the camera to the left. We've got 2 iPhones on each of us, so we can both say good day to the. Well, you look at that one.
I'll
I
look at
that
this
one.
one,
Yeah. And we're going to test it out for you guys. So if you see some better content, if you want to check out the YouTube, give some feedback. That would be cool. But how are you, Brad?
I'm very well, mate.
It's been a while since you've been on.
It has. Actually, Bali was the last time I think we did a podcast.
Was it Bali or I remember? So you were on a couple in the beginning, and this was before I even had the Rodecaster Pro. Before I was doing it properly.
We did it with
remember when we
the
did
little mic clip on
the lapel mic,
and then we'd sit there. I actually remember we just sat there and we're like, should we just do a podcast on like being in a relationship?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And then we sat there on the bed and we just like had a little chat
about relationships.
Actually, no. We did one on my balcony, but I think you could hear the cars.
Remember, that was at Wild Kitchen. So we sat out the front of the cafe, and it was raining on that roof. It had the plastic roof.
Yeah,
you could hear it. It was like
too noisy.
Yeah, it was really noisy.
You're all professional now.
I can't remember what episode that was, but it was a while ago. It was a couple of years ago.
Good to be back,
mate. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
This is going to be fun. So we're going to be talking all things about blended families and step families.
Yep.
Interesting conversation. We were chatting the other day. I was like, man, I want you back on the potty. What can we talk about? That's going to be of value to men. And then you were like, I've got something good. So you're a stepdad, or
not on paper, right?
Yeah,
but I am in a de facto relationship. So
yeah, you've been with your lovely partner for 5 years.
Yeah, basically,
that's wild. 5 years has gone so fast, mate. We were in the thick of rookies to regionals back then.
I know, yeah.
Like we were shred lords, lifting weights, getting sun. We went to Bali and did that training trip. And here we are. You're in a de facto relationship.
I'm in a de facto relationship.
And I'm bloody married.
2 kids.
As you can see here. Yeah, so let's dive into it. Yeah, 2 kids.
Yeah, it's full on.
How was that? Oh, I'd love to know, like, obviously when you were out in the dating market, you were 4 at the time, 25 when you first met.
Yeah, I think I was 24, yeah.
So culturally very young. Like, in the scheme of things. You met your lovely, hopefully soon-to-be wife one day. I'm throwing public pressure on you here. Charlene's probably sitting at home going, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
And how was it when you found out Charlene had children?
Well, she told me straight away. Like when we were dating, it was just one of those things that was thrown out. Had to be.
Yep.
And actually, at the time when I met Charlene, I didn't even really know if I was going to stay in Australia. So it was kind of like a.
What do you mean? You're going to go back to the?
No, I was actually planning on
country of England.
I was learning a bit of Spanish and stuff, and I was like, I'm just going to go Barcelona and go there. So she kind of, I think, thought, oh, this might not be something that's going to last. But yeah, I ended up obviously staying with her.
To stay. Yeah. Did she convince you to stay, or did I?
I think a bit of both, isn't it?
Oh, good answer.
Like lovely. I was like, well, I'm going to leave this woman. This woman's everything. Like she values the things I value, and it's just works out. Why do I have to not be with this woman because she has 2 kids and they're not mine? Do you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I did have to think about it probably before actually meeting her kids, and she was also the same way. It's like you don't really want to step into the kid's life unless you know this is actually something that's going to be lasting, because it's not good for the kids to see men coming in and out.
Like that's pretty cool to think about when you've got children in the mix. You're like, or you really think you can't sort of just fluff around in the relationship, and if it's not good, you can still sort of go with it and push it out a little bit longer, because when kids are involved, as you said, it's like Charlene may not have wanted the girls to meet you if you're a twat.
Yeah, that's
Thankfully, you're not a twat.
Yeah.
And also you may not have wanted to meet the girls if you didn't think it was going to last, because you're playing with, you can't just have a revolving door of people coming in and influencing.
Well, no, it's not good for the kids to see that, is it? Well, what's that telling them?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not sustainable relationships are not a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to make sure that this woman was someone I wanted to be with before I actually met them. And I remember meeting them the day we went to.
What were the conversations yourself and Charlene were having though prior to that?
I think it was more just to see if we did actually love each other. Conversations about the girls, she would ask me like, is this really something that you want to take on?
Do you feel she had doubts around you with that, or?
Not, I don't think so. No, she never asked that. at all. But I had people around me saying, like, mate, you don't really want to do that, do you? You're young. Like, you don't really.
And how was that
you
for
don't
you?
need these. You don't need. You could have any. Like, you could go have any girl with not kids. You have your own kids. Like, you don't really want it. It's like it comes with baggage.
Yep.
And I mean, I like to think I got my own mind. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, but no, but this woman, she's lovely. Like, just because she got kids, it might add a bit of flavour even more flavour to the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it'll add more fun.
You seem to have a heap of fun.
Yeah, we have heaps of fun. So I didn't let that stop me. I just had to make my own mind up and was like, look, I've been with this woman for a while now. I'm actually ready to meet the kids. I just felt that.
Yep.
I then met them on the park and yeah, the girls, I think Savannah, I remember, she acted as though she was stuck up the tree. And Charlene was like, she ain't. I think she just wants you to go over there and
oh, really?
Around, yeah. And
How
I walked
good's that?
over there and like that was my first kind of dad thing.
So how old was Savannah then? Like how old were the girls when you met them?
I don't find me dates with me too much, but
Well,
they're
roughly,
Savannah's
ballpark.
13. Savannah's 13 now. Ariel's 9 now.
Yeah, so let's say 4 and 8.
Yeah, it was probably about four years I've been in their life.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so in all honesty though, if the kids were younger, this would be where I would probably not go there if the kids were a lot younger.
Why is it like so?
Because you're more hands on, right?
Yep.
I
like changing
if they're
nappies
babies.
yeah.
I don't think that's not something I could take on because at the end of the day, I also had a lifestyle that I wanted to live.
How do you feel though? Like, because I feel you're very aware of what you want and you don't often compromise that, right? Like the reason why the rookies to regionals broke up. Now, this is a touchy subject on air was because, well, this is what you told me. You didn't like the gym we were training in because it was too dark.
Yeah.
And you've come over from England,
Yeah.
which is weather's notoriously miserable. And you're like, mate, I just want the sunlight.
Yeah,
You come here to be in a dark gym.
Yeah.
So you don't fuck around. Like you're pretty open and honest. Did you ever get any flack for that? Like, do you feel even saying, look, I couldn't be with a woman who has like a 1 to 2 year old, but 4 and 8 sort of worked for you?
What do you mean? Like, would that?
Well, some people would not say that. They feel that. I think about how offended people get at the moment, and people go, "You can't say that."
Well, yeah, but that's me, innit?
Yeah.
Like I don't. You probably can't, but you probably can, but I can't. Like
Yep.
that probably means I need to be a bit more hands on with the baby. That's going to take a lot more of my time. My time is quite valuable. Going into the girl's life now, they do require a lot of my time, but at the same time, they're quite self-reliant.
Yep.
Which does take away a lot of hands-on time.
Yep.
I'm saying. So by all means, like if some people want to go, I've nothing against that. But for me personally, I think of it into the future. Like I value my future self. And yeah, if I was to be in a relationship with someone that had younger kids, I know it's going to be a lot more harder work just from what I've witnessed.
Yep. And it's a good thing that I guess to consider and to be honest about is how it's going to actually impact your life, because it works both sides here. Like you said, if they were so young and they were going to take away from your lifestyle, it probably was a no deal and you could have had that conversation. But a lot of people don't even think, hey, maybe this, as you said, it adds so much value. The girls add so much value to your life.
Loads. Yeah.
That a lot of people may instantly meet a partner who has children and go, nah, fuck that, without even considering, hey, that could actually add a lot of value to my life. So it's cool that you were able to sort of sit and think about what was going on in your life and what you wanted for the future and make that decision for yourself rather than listening to the influences around you.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I trust myself is because I've already took myself from a situation like living in the UK and not enjoying it and thinking with my own head like, nah, this ain't a place for me. I'm going to go move to the other side of the world.
Yep.
And it's worked out.
Yeah.
So I've kind of like built that within me that you got to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Make the decisions for yourself. You know what I mean? You got your own head on your shoulders. Obviously, I've taken opinions of people closest to me.
Yeah.
And I talk to my mum and dad and stuff like that about it. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you. And if you're happy, you go for it.
How have you developed that though, even for leaving the UK and that? Like, what do you think put you in the frame of mind to just go, look, if it's not for me, I'm going to go chase what's for me, because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of men out there who want certain things within their life, but one, they don't have the courage to go after it. They're too worried about what their friends' opinions are, or moments like that. Like, what do you feel makes you different to a lot of people?
Just from having experiences, and yeah, man, I can't really explain it. Like, it's hard.
If you were to be able to put it into words.
Honestly, just having, like, for example, the reason why I took the decision to make a move was because initially I wanted to go on holiday to Australia, right, and do traveling.
Yeah.
And the reason why I went to Australia and did the traveling in the first place was because I was fortunate enough. Mum and Dad always used to take me on holiday to places around the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. I love it. So through experience, I knew that I liked being overseas. And then when I was 18, I was like, I'm going to have this experience for a whole year, not just for 2 weeks of a holiday.
So you think travel's important then?
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to explain that why I'm probably, I've just feel that I just got to take action. It's probably another thing as well. Like, if I get an idea, Charlene says this to me a lot. Like, if I have like something that comes with my head, I go and do it. I don't go and think about it for too long, because action is what actually changes, isn't it? Not by thinking about it.
Yep.
That's the start. Most people get there, but don't actually go and try it. You got to try things to know what you like, right?
People think themselves into thinking, this is a bit of a tongue twister, but thinking that they're making change just by thinking too much. Yeah. It's like, if I consider all the options, if I plan enough, my life's going to change. It's like, you could have the most incredible plan. Like, we've just done some planning before this.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean shit if we don't action it.
Well, it's like, the Atomic Habits, James Clear, he says, like, most people spend the most of the time in motion and not action.
Yeah.
So they think by reading a book, that's actually going to change them. But no, if you actually take what you've read and put it into action, that's what's going to change you. Yeah.
Deep.
We've got off topic there, man.
No, mate, there is no... we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, no.
This is our conversation.
Yeah.
But step families and blended families are the fastest kind of family around Australia at the moment. 6 or 10% of, like, I think it's 6 million families in Australia. 600,000 families are step or blended families.
So really?
Yeah, pretty amazing. I Googled that last night.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to a YouTube I wanted to understand, like, maybe what people's perspectives were on it, challenges that blended or step families had. And then I was just like, let's go down the rabbit hole and see what the stats are, because the stats are incredible. But what do you feel for yourself, obviously, then, once you've met the girls at a young age and you're like, I love Charlene? That's not coming from Lachie, obviously, for everyone listening. I love Amy, but Brad loves Charlene.
You can love Charlene.
Yeah, I love Charlene too.
Yeah.
There you go, Charlene, first time live. But then stepping into the family, did you feel like you had to adopt the role of a dad from that moment?
Not at all. No, it was more, I knew, I put myself in their dad's shoes, and it's like, imagine me coming along and there's another lad in the picture. Oh, sorry, I'm in the picture now, and then his daughters are going home and speaking about me as their dad. How would he feel about that? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of, like, my role, I quickly came in, and my role was like more of someone who is a mentor and someone who can guide them, not taking the title of dad. I know, though, when they were young, when I first met them, one of them, the first time, I think it was the youngest, she shouted out, "Goodbye, Dad," like that. And I was like, oh, like, I didn't really say anything. It's up to them if they want to say that, but she probably doesn't understand too much. And I think they actually, one of them mentioned it in front of their dad as well, and I don't think he was too happy about it. And I understood, whatever. And then one time she said it again in the car, and I turned around and says, "You can't call me..." Well, I didn't say you can't call me dad. I was like, how about you call me Braddy instead?
Brad, you know, to Braddy.
I mean? Yeah, but I'm not... I've said this before. Like, I'm not there to take, like, to have the title of dad.
Yep.
If they want to call me it, by all means. But I'm more of, like, someone there that helps guide, that helps mentor if they need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a good, like very empathetic of you to consider that, because some people maybe once again don't think about how the other dads, or the dad, sorry, not the other dad, but the biological dad's feeling in that moment, and obviously what the role is. Because I feel, even from what I was reading to and listening last night, some blended families, like the stepdad may come into the picture and just go straight into parenting. It's like you need to build that relationship with the children first, and they need to sort of understand who you are, because you're just like a random new person now.
Yeah.
But you're trying to almost demand authority and have influence without that. And that doesn't work in any area of life at all. You've got to build that influence.
Yeah, I leave it up to the kids. You know what I mean? Leave it up to how they're feeling. Obviously, you got to have a look at the situation, see how they're feeling, what do they want. And so when they talk about their dad, just listen to it.
Yep.
Like when they tell me stories about what they've been up to with their dad, I don't turn my nose up on my quiz. Ask questions about it, show I'm interested. You know, I'm happy that you got a good relationship there. Yep. That's what we want to keep. You know what I'm saying? And
what's the dynamic there? So do you have the girls week on, week off, or what does that look like?
Yeah, week on, week off. So half parenting.
Yeah. So how do you find that, like, as well, for your lifestyle? Like, how does that work in? Well, like, how do you make that work? Is a question I want to ask.
I just know that when I have the week with them, I'm not going to see Charlene as much.
Oh, when you have the girls there?
When we have the girls, I don't see Charlene as much as I do when we don't. She's driving more and school and all that stuff. The weekends, obviously, we have the girls as well, so we got to do something that's probably they're going to enjoy a bit more.
Yep.
And also, I know I've got to meal prep different because the girls don't want to eat like how I eat. I do put that in a little bit, but it's usually, tacos and...
Oh, I love tacos.
Like easy
What's your
stuff for them
favourite
to eat. At the moment, we're doing a mixture of like...
What would you send me a photo of the other day?
Chicken fajita tacos, but they're just good for the girls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Easy. So obviously I meal prep as well. So I'm doing like 2 days, 2 to 3 days worth of food for the girls, their dinners. So, I mean, that's the only thing. It's just the time. I lose a bit more time when I have the girls.
Do you think, so obviously then when you've got the girls, you say you lose more time. So you're like a busy family. Yeah. There's a lot of busy families that are listening to this. So do you find meal prepping is extremely helpful? Like, how is it helpful for you?
Oh, meal prepping saves time. It's like, again, it might be a bit of time now, like spending 2 hours doing dinner. Yeah. But then you're going to same time the next day you haven't got to cook, and the day after you haven't. So ultimately, you save time by putting in time. Yeah. And the present.
Time.
Yeah.
What a time.
You just got to. I think meal prepping is a game changer. I think.
For those who say meal prepping is boring.
Yeah.
What do you say to that? What's your thoughts?
What do you mean by that? Like,
people go, I don't meal prep. It's the same boring thing. I need to change up. I like variety.
Yeah, well then change up your meal prep.
Fires back with a left hook.
Change up your meal prep. You know what I mean? Like mix up your meats. Yep. Mix up. I mean, the girls do get bored, to be honest. Like if I do tacos for too long, like I think now it's like tacos again or chicken again. Yeah. Then it's like, okay.
Get creative.
Let's change it up. There's different meat or something.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Fair play. That's good. Good. And then, so do you find it hard to transition from week on, week off, or is it you're sort of used to that now?
I'm used to it now. Yeah. It's more automatic.
It's almost like you have a 14-day week if you looked at it like that.
Yeah. But you know what? Like when I first met Charlene, when I first got into the girls' lives, like it was more, I only seen them at the weekends. So I noticed
because yourself and Charlene weren't living together?
Yeah, we weren't living together. When we lived together, that's when there was change. And then their dad was going away for long periods of time at some point. So we had them for a long time. And that's where it did get a little bit hard because I wasn't getting the same amount of time with Charlene. And that's very important for me. And that was different. So I weren't like, it wasn't an agreement, but that wasn't like that when I first met her. Yeah. So it was changed. And I'm like, I don't want this to impact our relationship.
How'd you bring that up? Because every relationship goes through changes like this, even for relationships that don't have children yet and then get children. One of the things that I speak to a lot of men about is their relationship takes a backward step. Yeah. And obviously, whether you don't have the ability to communicate properly or whatever, how did you sort of take control of that conversation to make that?
Just by communicating it. I know it's simple,
yeah.
but I just there's a problem.
What did that look like for you? Did you for some people it might be email, text, or did you say, hey, Charlene, can we go for a nice meal and sit down and I want to talk to you about a few things? What did that look like for you? If you can remember.
Mate, in all honesty, like me and Charlene, we don't let things fester.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why we get on so well as well.
Yep.
Like, if there is a problem, I feel like I've not seen Charlene much. I just feel like, your values, like one of mine's family and stuff. And if something's not met, something's don't feel like I'm just a bit off and everything else is in order, my health, I'm learning and stuff like that, but my relationship not, you kind of, something feels off. So that's where I will just sit down. I don't feel like I've seen you as much this week. Even this weekend, she's been at the Stedford and I feel like we've not catch up. So I messaged her. I actually messaged her yesterday and was like, I don't feel like I've seen you much this weekend.
Yeah.
So then she's like, oh, if you stay up and we'll have a chat and then we'll have a bit more of a talk and catch up, that's important. But usually as well, if it's been a while, we'll make sure we book something. Like last weekend, we went away to Mullaney for a couple of days. We make sure we have that quality time. Like, but if you forget about that, that's when I feel the relationship can just go in separate ways.
That's really cool that you do that. Do you find that's hard? So how do you, with having the girls around, how do you prioritize a relationship while the girls are around? What are some things that you do?
When they're around, so when we've got them for that week, we just say it's our time now. We tell the girls.
Jeez, I love how...
Yeah, no, it's still so straightforward. Like, we're going to have some time now because we haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
I think these are good things
and
for
do the girls understand that as well? Like,
they go in their room and do whatever. Like, me and Charlene's time, we're going to watch Stranger Things.
Oh, how good!
You know what I mean? Like,
Things.
So
what episode are you up to?
We're on the last season now.
Oh, you're binging.
Mate, that monster, Vector or whatever his name is, come into the picture.
Yeah.
It's actually scary, like the season 4. I was like, whoa, like it's actually pretty... I was scared of the gremlins when I was a kid.
Wait, do you want to know a fun fact? Did I tell you about this? For everyone listening, this is fucking wild. So I get a random phone call last Sunday or Monday. And on the line is my dad's cousin. Now, I never met the bloke, ever. He's like, hey, mate, Dean here, your dad's cousin. I was like, g'day, mate, what's going on? Anyway, he's like, I follow yourself and Amy on social media and I notice Amy's in America. I was like, she is, and I'm heading over on Wednesday, super excited. And in the back of my head, I'm like, what do you call, like, what's the point of this call? And he goes, well, anyway, my sister, so dad's other cousin, is in America and she's like the head photographer for Netflix.
Yeah.
Tina.
Bloody hell.
He's like really good mates with, Kevin Hart, Dolly Parton, all this sort of stuff. He's like, you should probably link up with everybody there. I was like, what? One of my, I don't think that makes it a second cousin, is like big in the arts world that Amy's in and my dad's never once thought to tell me. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I've jumped on her Instagram and I won't post it, but she's getting photos with Dolly Parton, Kevin Hart, and like a lot of the Stranger Things current photo on season 4. She took that, and the same with the Ozarks. And I'm like, she's incredible, and I've never once heard about her. So So
you're gonna have a chat with her?
Yeah, I've been speaking to her on Instagram. She lives in Atlanta. We'll be in Nashville, so I think it's 3 hours away or 3 hour flight.
Make it work.
We maybe will make that work, but we might just go back another time as well.
There you go.
But I was like,
might meet Millie Bobby Brown.
Who?
Millie Bobby Brown.
No idea who that is.
She's 11.
Is that what her name is?
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, you're not invested that much in it.
No, mate, I'm only on season 2.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, no, she's in all of them. She's the
main.
main.
I know.
Right,
but it's like I'm clearly not that invested because I'm on season 2.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I'm watching Peaky Blinders at the minute.
Same.
Anyway, we've gone way off track.
We've gone way off. Let's get back.
Anyway, back. So yeah, I guess those tips around maintaining the relationship and prioritizing the relationship, regardless of whether what do you call yourself? Like, or do you even have it? Because when I was Googling it all last night, it's like step families and then blended family. What would you call yourself? It's just a family, right?
It's just a family, yeah.
Why
people complicate stuff?
Label.
You know what I mean?
It's wild.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's fucking different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I notice when I'm talking to you as well, I say in it.
Why? Because you're copying what I say.
Yeah, I think I do.
Do I say in it still?
Yeah, you always say in it.
I've tried to stop that.
I like it.
Yeah, I used to say you're right all the time.
You always say you're right.
No, I'm trying
mate,
to.
I don't know when you're around me. You go, you're right, mate. I'm like, yeah. Hello. You know.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. Language is interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, just sort of language. Actually, no. Don't worry about it. So back to the relationship part, and what does that relationship look like? Like, do you feel as a family you'll have more children, or?
Well, yeah, we're going straight
Yeah,
in there. We're diving straight in there. That's obviously, like, as my girlfriend, she's older than me. She's 8 years
older and wiser.
Yeah. I'll let her have that. So she's 8 years older than me.
Yep.
So it's like, clock's ticking, you know what I mean?
Yep.
For her.
But she's so healthy though. Like, I feel, while there's a biological clock, I think health also, like.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like she's had her kids. She's speaking to me. We have conversations about this obviously quite a bit.
Yeah,
and she's had kids through her 20s, right?
Yep.
So now her kids are getting older, so she's gaining some time and freedom back.
Yep.
So it's kind of like she loses that.
Yeah,
loses that time again.
Yep.
So I got to look at it in her shoes. I probably want a kid, but I've also got to think of Charlene as well.
Yeah. It's another thing to consider.
Yeah.
Time. It's tough. Like, yeah, that does make it tough because that's something that I guess a lot of people don't have to consider is like not adding another 18. But yeah, I guess you're looking after a kid for essentially 18 years. So if you restart that and the girls are 13 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something to consider.
That's it.
Interesting. Deep. What are some other sort of things that you could share around your sort of experience joining a family like that you feel would be beneficial? Because there are so many blokes out there who are, you only got to look at divorce rates to understand that this is going to become more and more common, right? And I don't know whether some people, like you said, there's people look at it like, oh, there's baggage, which is complete bullshit. Like it's all unique and individual if you start thinking for yourself. But with divorce rates so high, there's going to be so many more men and also women that find themselves in situations like where the other person does have children. So what is there any other helpful things you feel you could share that are important to consider or think about, or boundaries maybe you'd put in place, or conversations that are important to have?
I just think a big thing is making sure your relationship with your girlfriend is solid. Like that's fundamental in my eyes. Yeah. First, because they see that, and remember, if you're coming in and their past relationship that they've experienced might not have been the best, so you don't want them to have the belief of, well, what a relationship is like a man coming in and out and blah blah blah. I want them to see a healthy relationship, what that looks like. Yeah. So that's key in my eyes. Yeah. I'm saying another thing is communication, like checking in with the girls, making sure you're always talking to them. And I mean, I didn't have this, but as soon as I got into their life, like they didn't not like me, but I've seen it on films and see where the kids are just well against another bloke coming in their picture because it's like, no, you're not my dad, kind of thing. And it's like they're young, like there's nothing against you probably. It's probably going to take some time and realising that they're running on emotions and stuff, and it might be a matter of time where you will become more of an influence and they will learn to love you a bit more. Yeah. Again, time. And another thing I don't really do is shout. Like I don't shout at the kids. And like when they do something wrong, obviously kids do things wrong all the time.
We do things wrong.
We do things wrong. But that's one thing that I don't really do much to get, like I don't shout at them or discipline them. I just make sure that I talk to them in a way that I'm talking to another adult. Yep. And then if it's still not going through, that's probably where I'll step on the gas be a bit more firm, which is very rare. But ultimately, it's challenging their thought process and why they've done certain things. Yep. And the reason why I'm upset. And that's kind of how that's my telling off version, is making them understand the reason.
It's very cool that you do that, because you think about power, like, and hierarchies and all that sort of stuff. A lot of leadership, like old school leadership, has come through trying to have the one up on other people, whether they're children or just people in general.
Yeah.
And yelling or using your force to get people to do things that you want them to do. So being able to take that more, I would say, emotionally intelligent approach, where you can just really try to reason with them, because you are both on. At the end of the day, we learn just as much from children as they learn from us. Right?
Yeah,
we think because we've had more experiences, we've had more hardships, that fucking we're entitled to respect. Which is, I see it all the time when you see parents yelling at kids. You're like,
what are you doing? The kid's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
the kid's still screaming.
Yeah.
And it's like you're telling the kid to stop
You're
screaming.
not earning respect. You're only scaring the poor bastards.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
You need the work. Like them having the tantrum, you're having a tantrum, and you've got more experience under your belt. So pull your fucking head in.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong though. There is times where that response I just said, like it doesn't always work. Like you'll have times where the girls just, oh my God, they can get too much, and you feel like blowing up, but it's again having that emotional intelligence not to blow up and that's not gonna kick on. But I remember one time, I'll tell you a little story.
Yeah, tell me, drop me a story.
So like Savannah, I called her up, and she's obviously going through her teenage years, and I was like, we're gonna buy some bodyboards. We're gonna go bodyboarding tomorrow. Are you cool with that? We're gonna go on the sea and get. And she's like, yeah, sounds great. I'm like, wicked, because we've been having a bit of a problem getting her out of bed in the morning, like to actually go to the beach and stuff. Anyway, next day comes around, we're like, yeah, we're going bodyboarding, and she's like, I'm not going. I'm like, we brought 2 bodyboards yesterday. We're going bodyboarding. She's like, I'm not going. Why do I have to go? So anyway, I was like, come on, we're going. So we chucked the bodyboards in. We got to the beach, and she was like, no, I'm not going. I'm not going in the bodyboard. It's too cold. And I'm just like, I felt a bit upset. And I was like, I felt myself getting a bit angry, and I gave her I've probably twice done that, but I had to give her a stern, like, telling her why I'm feeling this way, and that yesterday we confirmed that we're getting the bodyboards. I know it sounds small, but people probably run into these little things all the time and blow up all the time. And that's where I gave her like a bit of a stern talking to her, and she actually, I left her to it, and then she sun-creamed up, and then got out on the bodyboards. It kind of like, I think she understood then.
It's important. I think it's great that you shared how you're feeling for one, and why you're feeling that way, because that's what building emotional intelligence and emotional awareness is. Yeah.
Well, if I just shout, but I'll get on the bodyboard now. Why?
What does that achieve?
Yeah. What is that? But if they understand why and how you're feeling and stuff, then they make that decision themselves.
I like it. 2 more questions for you. Firstly, one of the things that I've caught myself saying a lot lately is do something today to be better for tomorrow. And we're actually getting some new shirts coming out soon that are going to be delicious for everyone listening. Yeah. That are just going to say do it for tomorrow, meaning whatever you feel you need to do to be better for tomorrow, do it now for tomorrow. Yeah. What are you doing today to be better for tomorrow?
I'm listening to an audiobook.
What's it called?
Evolve Your Brain.
Joe Dispenza?
Joe Dispenza, yeah.
And what are you learning from it?
Just learning about how our genetics play a role in our foundations when we are born of what we think. Mm-hmm. So if someone does have that, if someone in your family has that, like your mum or dad has like a strong victim mentality, that can be a foundation for when you're born. That could be hardwired into your brain. That's not to say you can't change it. Yeah. Because your brain is so neuroplastic. Yep. And you can change it however you want to be, you can be.
Do you truly believe that?
I truly believe that, yeah. Obviously, there's certain things that we can't change in our brain, like, well, actually, I've not read this, but like, you know, your brain stem and your cerebellum, like how your heart, you can't, I don't know if you can change how that.
Autonomic nervous system sort of responses.
But I truly believe you can, because I've done it. You know what I mean? If I've got something how I want to be, then you just go and do it, and that's it.
I'm a big believer. I agree with you.
Yeah, your brain, you can literally I just don't understand. I do understand, but you can literally be whoever you want to be.
I find it one of the challenges I've got with my journey is that I've changed my life so much from where I once was, and from being depressed and anxious and all of this sort of stuff. And I find it really hard, whether it's I'm too empathetic or sympathetic almost, to say this is like, to some people, like, just fucking do this and you'll sort your stuff out. Because as I've done it, I truly believe that like health and fitness and working on your emotional intelligence, like the 4 pillars, the reason why we have the 4 pillars, muscle, momentum, meaning, mateship. I believe if you do that, you'll change your fucking life. Like wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I struggle to say that to people because I'm like, well, what if that's just my journey? What if they can't do it?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's a sign.
I think some things are more hardwired than others, so they're harder to shake. I believe that. So if you've been doing something for so long, people expect a month change. No, it's actually because you got to put in the work, ain't you? No matter what. And if something's been so drilled into you, it's not going to take a couple of months to get rid of. You've actually got to put the work in and be willing, remind yourself that you're making the change, you're progressing. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're imperfect. This is all growth. It's repetition that builds those connections in the brain to create those new connections, and that's what ultimately gives us that change.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. But a good book, I'm learning heaps. I have to pause it and wow.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Last one. What's your definition of being a man? I'm going to go back and listen to the last episode I did with you, and see what it was.
Yeah. I think being true to your word.
Yep.
Taking responsibility for your actions. Being loving, compassionate.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mate, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know we're going to do a bucket load more of podcasts in the foreseeable future, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on, man.
No worries, man. Thanks a lot for having me.
But do something today to be better for tomorrow, and that could be signing up for the Academy. That could be leaving a review because that helps us. And thank you for your time, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.